Adam and Eve, when they were banished from the what we can call heaven, right? The garden. They were told to that they know how to work for their food. They had to, sacrifice the leisure that they had before, where food just automatically grew from trees, to now having to work and having to, I guess, sacrifice that leisure for the reality. Like when we are children, we don't have that much responsibility, but then when we become more knowledgeable, when we grow up, we have those responsibilities, right? And so it's almost like our banishment, or our banishing from our parents, for example, right? That separation, we have to fend for ourselves, we have to work. And so it's that process. Is there any correlations, that you see with sacrifice, with pain, that make us become more mature?
Terms of like all the psychology books I've had to read talk about whether they call that resilience. And some people build resilience when they go through a lot of pain and suffering in their life. Other people, it becomes traumatic and causes almost the opposite. Going through really hard times often builds up resilience. And it's maybe not during when you're trying to overcome it, but it's after you overcome it that you become stronger. And
Yeah, I
you
was
go through something hard and it's easier to deal with things in the future.
I was listening to a talk the other day of Jordan Peterson and Jocko Willings. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And this guy, he's been to war, but he mentioned something very interesting where he said, war was the best thing that ever happened to my life, but I don't wish that on anyone. When you undergo war or famine or, sacrifice or pain, you don't wish that on people, but some people find the beauty in it. It's a perspective aspect. If you have the wrong perspective, you can either grow from it or not, fall back from it. Pain does in a way have its place in life, and sacrifice as well. When parents have a child, most of the time, you'll see that they'll sacrifice their own passions and dreams to nurture the passions and dreams of their child. A self-sacrifice. So it's a very interesting process that I just see throughout different scenarios of life. Parenthood, friendships, romantic relationships. People are willing to do whatever it takes to win over a partner. Even if it means suffering with them or for them. That's something that we're willing to go through.
Does going through these painful things strengthen us? Does it lead to better things for us? I mean, it changes us definitely.
Because he talks about the story of this guy who he was taken prisoner. Some nights he couldn't sleep because he had so many wounds that rats were biting at them at night when he was trying to go to sleep. There's just unending suffering. You can't go to sleep. You can't rest. It's crazy how much pain and sacrifice people are able to undergo. For example, in the idea of Christianity, we have Christ. Jesus Christ died on the cross, which is, a death that is very shameful, right? Because usually people that were put on the cross were shamed upon for having done something very, very bad. We see that there, that example of extreme suffering. But it was due to preparation, prayer, and love, those two coming together, that helped them undergo that. Of course there's the level of divinity that he had, of course, but if we take that example as well in our lives, we see we can replicate that as well when we have to sacrifice our life for a friend or for a family member. Even I'm willing to take a hit so that you're okay.
Making sacrifices can bring good things. Like you said, for studying for a test, you had to sacrifice time in order and delay gratification of watching YouTube or doing whatever else you enjoy We
Hmm.
normally enjoy it to pass the test for a greater good, for a greater goal that's beyond your current immediate pleasure kind of thing.
Mm. So sacrifice, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. So sacrifice helps us understand long-term goals, right?
Pleasure,
Because we sacrifice in the moment, like you said, instant gratification. I like
yeah,
that.
instant gratification, you're going to get away from your goals unless your goals are just to seek instant pleasure all the time. But most times that's just going to lead you into a rut where you don't get anything done.
Yeah. So which means that without pain or sacrifice, like you can never